Guys, welcome. Carl Norman from carlnormanconsulting.com and Professional Mastermind Podcast. I've got today with me, and I've got to be honest with you, right? I'm quite excited. Stephanie Villas. And the reason why I'm really excited is because I've been watching, obviously, for a while, and names come up in certain circles with regards to the business that I'm currently doing. I'm just looking at this lady and thinking, wow, I've got to be honest with you, Stephanie. I've looked at you and thought to myself, if this girl can do it, then there is no excuse for anybody else not to be fantastic in this business. So listen, I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to introduce you. Stephanie, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing wonderful. What an introduction. I appreciate that.
No problem at all. It's weird because, you know, when I first got introduced into network marketing, you obviously you see different people that are doing exceptionally well, and you expect them to come from a certain background. You expect them to be a certain type of person, and then you have come along and just blown everything out of the water. Because when someone comes and says to me, oh, but you know, I can't do this because I've got 2 kids, or I'm really busy and I've got a full-time job, and I'm thinking, yeah, you need to speak to Stephanie, because I've seen what this girl does, and I'm telling you, she'll just blow your socks off. So Steph, listen, the guys that I've spoken to over the last few days have all been really excited that I've got to do this, that I'm actually on the phone with you today, and I'm finding out a little bit more about. So listen, I want to know, tell me a little bit about your background before you got involved with this company.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that I love that you're saying it the way that you're saying it, because it's the perfect scenario of my background. It's a joke in our circle of friends, like I am the hot mess mom. I am the mom that shows up late to things. I am the mom that, like, my kid has 1 shoe on. But you know what? I run a business. I homeschool. I get it done. It's not always perfect. Yeah. And it's kind of a joke because, you know, with social media now, you see these polished, bright, perfect pictures. Yes. And I really thought, that's never going to be my life. I can't. It will take me 3 years to get all of my kids to sit down in clean clothes with a white background and a polished picture. If I need to be posting that every day, I can't build a business. You know, like, I really thought that. Or even, you know, even these perfect bodies, you know, in the fitness industry, I see these beautiful, beautiful women that I look up to and I admire, and their skin is perfect and their abs are perfect and they're tall. And, you know, again, I think, well, that's never going to happen. I mean, unless I get some serious surgery or something, it's just not going to happen. So I can't be successful unless I look like that. And it's just not true. It's just not true. What I have learned immensely from being in this business is that people want to connect with people that are real. Yeah. People want to connect with people that care. Mm-hmm. People want to connect with people that are authentic. And so when I really settled into that it is what it is, I'm doing this because I love it. I want to help people. I want to meet amazing people in other countries and have fun doing this. I want my kids to experience this. I want my kids to see the grit. When I settled into that and stopped thinking that I had to have the perfect picture for everything and that I had to have the perfect website or that's really when my business took off. Yeah. Because people were like, oh, I see your vision. I see where you are. I can relate to you, and I want to join you. Yeah. And that's really where it took off. So my background is actually, I was a fitness competitor in my 20s. I've been a mom just as long as I've been, more than half of my life. Yeah. So I became a mom very young, and I've been married for almost 17 years. Fantastic. So we started very young, and I got into fitness right away. I taught like gymnastics and dance, and that's what I did. And then I ended up getting into training, and I competed in fitness for years. I won 3 natural pro cards. I qualified with NPC and figure. And that's really where I kind of hung my hat for a long time as a trainer. And, you know, I had a very set regimen, a very set schedule. And like I said, I had that mindset of the clear, glossy pictures. And then I had my twins. And that mindset completely changed. Yeah. Because there was one thing to do with my daughter, who was like the perfect little student, the perfect little gymnast. And then I had twin boys that were wild, like wild, you know.
Changed you around completely overnight.
Absolutely. So I was, and I will say this because the evolution of who I've become as a person, as a mother, as a trainer, is really why I have so much fun doing it. You know, in my 20s, all I cared about were what my abs looked like on stage. You know, did I like to help my clients? Absolutely. But it wasn't about them. It was about me. I'll be honest. You know, that's what it was about. You know, my daughter was very well behaved, very structured child. So I just thought anybody whose kids didn't take a nap when they were supposed to, like, what, get your stuff together, like, figure it out. You know, that I was that person. And then it was very humbling when I had my twins, and life was no longer like that anymore. You know, they didn't want to go in the gym daycare. My house was a little bit messier. It was just a little crazier. And so I had to adapt my training. I had to adapt my food. I had to adapt my balance of wellness. So it was no longer, you know, 6 strict meals, gym in the morning, gym at night. I couldn't do that anymore. And so I found myself in a little bit of a slump where it was like, how do I do this? How do I do this in the real world? And now I felt bad for being the trainer in my 20s who would look at the mom in her 30s and say, well, why can't you cook your food? Why can't you go to the gym? You know, I ate all of those words, and it was good for me. It was really, really good for me.
Yeah. Isn't it strange? It's real. I'm sorry to interrupt there, but isn't it really mad that when change is thrust upon us, we sort of, we adapt, we have to, or because if we just constantly go against it and we're like thinking, no, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. Again, what you mentioned before about being authentically you have not got a choice at this point, because you can't go, twins, let's give them back. Clean house. Right? Yeah, you can't do that.
Exactly.
So from the point of where you were, obviously, as a very young mum, and you had all of these clients then that were obviously going through certain things in their own lives, I'm pretty sure then, gathering from what you're saying, you were actually there was a lot of empathy there. You know, you could understand how these people were going through what they were going through, because you were actually experiencing it. That must have been a massive light bulb moment for you.
It really was. I actually just attended a fitness camp with 8 of our girls on our team. And one of them is somebody who knew me as a trainer when I was 22. She's known me since then. And she sat at the breakfast table that morning, and it was so touching. And I didn't prompt this. I didn't say this. She told, because I tell my clients all the time that I was not a good trainer. I mean, I physically was a good trainer, but I did not understand people's whole wellness needs. Because I was just in my own world. And I try to explain that to them, and they know me now as having such a big heart. So I don't think they believe me sometimes. And this particular friend sat at the breakfast table, and she said, I just want you guys to know that this is a new Stephanie. This is a different Stephanie than 10 years ago. And she said it. I didn't even say it. She said, I always loved Stephanie. She's always been into fitness. She said, but it was always about her. And now it's about everyone else. And that, I needed to go through that to be able to understand what I was really put here to do. And it's not about me. And it changes everything. It really changes everything. And it changed my path in life, because what happens is, like you said, when change comes in, we can continue to say, no, I'm still going to be that mom. I'm going to have my makeup done every day. I'm going to have my house clean every day. I'm going to bake for everything. I'm still going to be that mom. And we just run ourselves ragged and make ourselves miserable. And that becomes the norm. Because how many moms do we know that's just, oh my God, I have so much going on. I have crazy. I just have to keep up. It doesn't matter. I just have to save face. And that becomes the norm. And I felt like, this is not how I want my life to be. This is not the story I want to leave. This is not what I want my kids to see. You know, one thing I say to moms all the time is, sometimes we can't do it for ourselves, but I look at my daughters and I say, do I want them, when they become mothers, if they choose to, do I want them running around ragged and being sad that they can't have things perfect? Or do I want them to embrace what really makes them happy in life? And so when we put ourselves in our kids' shoes, like, would you want your kids doing that? It snaps us out of it. You know, it's sad that we have to.
You know, do you know what, you were on a roll there. I get where you're coming from, and I know what I was going to say. There comes a point whereby I think that you take a certain amount of chaos in your life, and you realize that, okay, how does this look from the outside in? That was something that was a massive thing for me. I was like thinking to myself, God, I wonder what my son thinks of the way that I'm behaving, or I wonder what my family think of the way that I'm behaving, the way that I am. Because I've been in business for the last 30 years. And there's been times that I'm just like spinning plates all the time, and it's just been absolutely ridiculous. And I think the reason, what I'm trying to get at here, is that from a client's point of view, and obviously us being in the fitness business, or our background being in that, is that sometimes that we have to go through a certain amount of chaos to understand where the client is. And I done like an NLP coaching course a few years ago, and I've done the NLP, I've done the practitioners and the masters. And it wasn't until I actually sat there and we started coaching other people as part of obviously the examination. And like, I was listening to people for like the first time, like in ever. And that must have been really, I think when your friends have probably said that to you at that breakfast table, this isn't a different Stephanie. What, you mentioned that you went through those changes. What did those changes feel like to you? I mean, and how did you relate that then to help your clients more?
So I actually, so this goes back to even before starting with this company. So I'm going to say almost 10 years ago, because my twins were almost 2. I went through that, okay, I can't compete anymore. I was getting ready for a national show. I was about 6 weeks out, and they weren't cooperating with going to the gym. It was, like you said, from the outside looking in, I was getting up early. I was working out. I was doing everything I needed to be doing, but I was also taking fat burners, over-the-counter fat burners. I wasn't sleeping well at night. So I may have looked like I was in tip-top shape, but I was run down. I was getting sinus infections all the time because my immune system was not good. And it was really bad. So about 6 weeks out from a national show, I backed out. And I've never backed out of anything in my life.
Wow.
So that really hit me. I mean, I had my tickets paid for, I had my suit, I had everything ready to go. I was excited. And I just said, you know what, I can't do this to my family anymore. Because like you said, from the outside looking in, where was our quality time? There wasn't any. I was just go, 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 go. What's next? To-do list, to-do list, to-do list. What's next? And I felt like Superwoman because I'm that type of person. But at the end of the day, I'm like, this isn't what I want my kids to remember about me. And this isn't the memories that I want to make. So I had backed out. And so I really went through kind of like a little mini depression after that. It was really bad because I stopped competing. I had gained a lot of weight. The doctor said, oh, it's postpartum. So they had tried to give me some medication. I didn't like the way I felt on it. It was just, I had went from go, go, go to what is very typical sometimes of stay-at-home moms because they just kind of lose themselves a little. And I had went to waking up in the morning. I wasn't going to the gym anymore because my kids had been picking up little bugs from the gym. So I said, okay, I'm done. Waking up in the morning, I remember watching Ellen's, at 9 o'clock in the morning, putting my kids down for a nap and then watching Desperate Housewives. How ironic is that? And then my husband would come home and I would cook dinner, cook whatever we wanted. And then we'd be in bed by 9. That was my day for a good year. And that's all I did. And that's the only time frame in my life that I've had that. But I needed to go through that to know that that's what my life looks like without structure. That's what my life looks like without wellness. That's what my life looks like without support of positive people, without meditating, without reading, without growing. I saw what my life looked like. And I, again, had to step back and say, well, there's one extreme to the other. Here I was doing everything and now I'm doing nothing. And that doesn't make me happy either. So going through that really helps me to connect with women who are going through that.
So what
that loss of identity.
That snap? What happened from that 12 months of being in there? What was the impetus for them to go? Did you wake up one day and thought, wow, I've got to change? Is that what happened? Or
no, I actually, so I was fine. I was actually like blissfully like, it is what it is. This is life. I guess this is what being a mom is. Yeah. And I went to visit my brother in South Carolina. And my brother is actually, he was a detective on the force for years. He owns 2 businesses. He, used to go to the the bodybuilding shows when I was younger, really got me into that. He was into Ronnie Coleman and all of that. Yeah. And our family is a pretty athletic family, and we're pretty, we've always been in shape, and we've always kind of competed with each other to be in shape. It's just a fun thing that we do. Yeah. We'll go on family vacations and we'll all kind of diet down to see who has the best abs there. Yeah. And so I went to visit my brother with my family on a family vacation. And again, I was pretty blissfully like, whatever, but I'd gained a lot of weight and I really didn't feel good about myself. And he never said anything to me about my weight, never said anything. And we took family videos of our trip. And number one, it was the most fun I had had all year. So I was like, this is how I used to live. Why am I not doing this anymore? You know, we went four-wheeling, we went fishing, we did all these things that I didn't have energy to do. So that was my number one wake-up call. And number two, when I saw those videos of myself, I cannot believe that I didn't see that in the mirror, but it wasn't me. It was like somebody stole my body and put it in somebody else. And it's not, I'm not even just talking about the physical. It's just the way I had my hair done, the way I just had the clothes I had on, it wasn't me. And that's what made me go, I can't do this. Like, I'm too young. I'm gonna live like this for the next 40 years of my life? Like, there's no way I can't do this. Yeah. And my husband actually is my greatest supporter, and he encouraged me to find whatever it was that I needed to do. So I started going back to the gym. I had let my personal training slip. I got my certification again. I started taking classes. I remember I bought a book, you know, it was like a 6-week kind of workshop book, and I started doing it a little bit on my own. And I just really started diving into developing myself. And I never believed that that was necessary, because I had been successful all of my 20s without ever picking up a book, without ever getting any coaching, without ever having any mentors. So I just thought that that was really for people who just couldn't get their stuff together. But the truth is, what I've learned, and look at you, is the most successful people in the world have these rituals of self-development and self-growth, and, you know, things that I didn't know that was a thing. I thought that was only when you're doing bad, but it's actually more beneficial when you are succeeding and when you are growing. So I really started, you know, I could tell you the number of books that I've read, and just I'm that's why I'm so intrigued by what you do. I was actually talking to Kathy this morning. You know, we're going to train with Tony Robbins.
I know.
We're going to do, like,
how exciting.
I've done a lot of, it's amazing. Like, to me, those are the life-changing moments. And people who are on the outside sometimes looking in think like, why do you need a book to tell you to be happy? You know to be happy. But you know what? We need reminders every day. We need 100%. Reminders every day.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing of what people say, well, why do you need a trainer? You know how to work out. Well, it's the accountability. It's the support. It's not, you know, we can Google online and get an awesome diet. We could Google online and get, you know, some awesome meditation. But if you don't have the accountability, if you don't have the guidance, if you don't have that support, it doesn't always stick. Yeah. So being around people in a business, and that's when I reached out to Kathy in 2013 and said, you know what, I see you're doing something. I want to know what it is, and I want to know how I can incorporate it with my clients and incorporate it into my life. And that changed everything for me.
Well, you know what?
Changed everything for me.
I was actually just going to lead into that. So you've done that brilliantly for me. Your story is such an inspiration. Because, no, seriously, you skipped a step there and just done me work for me. So thank you. You obviously getting in touch with.
I'm sorry. I talk a lot.
It's okay. It's okay. We probably the guys that were really interested in finding out now. I mean, and to be honest, we could go on and on and on here. I think we're going to have to get you in for the part B, a second part, simply because I think you've just got so much to say. And I think a lot of people are going to want to know about this. But take me then forwards, obviously, that you've done your certifications again. You've got yourself back in there. You've gone into personal development. You've liked what you've done. You've seen a change in your body. You've got these children, you know, thinking to yourself, okay, what's the next step? And that's obviously when you've reached out to Kathy, because obviously the beneficial side of obviously being involved in a business that we're currently in right now is, one, obviously the financial element. But the second element, which I'm thinking is probably more with you and me, is that we're thinking, well, how can we help other people? And I think that's really what I'd like you to touch on. And, you know, the fact of you being in a situation with your knowledge and then thinking, well, okay, well, how can I reach out and speak to more people and help them? So how's that journey how's that progressed?
Well, it's actually kind of ironic, because when I led up to reaching out to Kathy, my business was the most successful it had ever been before joining our company. So I was completely maxed out in clients. I teach like a small group boot camp. I had 3 a night. I had ones in the morning. I had clients on the weekend. So my business was actually doing great. But what happened is I'm a one-person show. So I didn't want to hire any other trainers. I really liked doing it personal. And that was it. That was all I could help. I mean, I was taking online clients as well, but there was still a limit. I mean, I had 3 kids, you know, so there was still a limit to how much I could do. And when I really reached out to Kathy, it was so that I could have another avenue to be able to take it online and to be able to build another tribe. It really honestly had very little to do with the money at that point, because I mean, it was a part of it, but my business was doing good. So it wasn't like I was in need, but I knew that I needed to expand in a way that I could do it that didn't take up more of my time. Because for me, I didn't want to work full time. You know what I mean? But I wanted to help more people. That was my thing. You know, I had people on wait lists, and I had people that were telling me, okay, I'm going to get in next month. And I'm like, I need a system that I can plug them into, that I can help them online and they can help each other. And that's really where Kathy came in hugely for me. Hugely for me. And it's evolved to now I actually take less in-person clients, and I'm in the process of changing it to completely online, because I can help more people that way. And I can help people from everywhere, not just my local community. I mean, I've really helped a lot of people in my local community, which I feel great about. But now I'm able to help, you know, I live in Massachusetts. I'm able to connect with people in the UK, and I have clients down in South Carolina and Florida and California. And that's something that I wouldn't have access to without, you know, just doing training. And the thing for me with training is I absolutely love training. I have a degree in exercise science. But when somebody trains with you for an hour, that's all that you have them for. They walk out of your facility and you don't know what they're doing mentally. You don't know what their relationships are like. You don't know the food that they're putting in their body. And that's really what affects wellness. It's not the hour that you spend in the gym. So for me now with our program, I have a small closed group of all of our people that are part of our tribe, and we connect daily. We connect morning, noon, and night. They've all become friends. We go to fitness camps together. They work out together. It's something that I could not build just training alone. And so it's really opened up a whole new avenue for me. And like you said, with the goal of just being the more people that I can help.
Yeah, exactly. Stephanie, do you know what? I'm absolutely gutted because we've only got 30 minutes here, and I just feel like as if that we could just keep going and going and going, because I haven't even touched on, obviously, the business that we're currently in and how, you know, you have made such a massive success of it. Would you be prepared to come back on at some point, maybe the following week, and we could do maybe a 30-minute session? Because I know that I'm going to push this out here, and the guys are going to be saying to me, we need more, because you've been honestly, the stuff that you've given us so far have just been golden nuggets from a personal development point of view. Stuff that you've come out with, I'm like going, oh, I hope they pick up on that. Oh, hope they pick up on that. Because that's just gold. It really, really is. So would you be up for doing a second part for this? Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
We said
absolutely
next week, yeah?
Yeah. Same time next week, because you know what, Carl, I will say this. So everything that I just told you didn't even lead up to my best part of where I started to make 6 figures with the company.
Oh, save that then. Save that, because you know, people are going to want to come back on and find out exactly. Because to be honest, that's the way that I've sold this. I'm like saying, I'm going to be on the phone today. I'm going to be with Stephanie. She's going to tell us how she's done this. But you've given away so much so far. And I'm thinking there's going to be loads more. And I just need more time with you. So Stephanie, if it's okay with you, can we jog back on and we can do this again another time? Would that be cool if we do this next week? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And our time frame will start from when I went to our big event last year. And then 8 months later, that's when I hit 6 figures. So we'll do that time frame next time.
That is absolutely amazing. Stephanie Villas, again, I know I've just said this, but I could definitely keep you on for another hour probably, and we just wouldn't even sort of scratch the surface. You've been amazing today. I really appreciate your time and I really appreciate your effort. I'm just hoping that the guys, well, I know that the guys who are watching this or listening to this on the podcast are going to get great benefit out of it. I look forward to catching you next week. Guys, for the people who are watching this and listening to this on the podcast, don't forget to tune in next week, probably the same time. to listen and find out how Stephanie took the business that we're currently in and developed it into a 6-figure business, okay? With hard work, the lifestyle that she's obviously got right now, the tribe that she's built up, and how she's obviously built that tribe up. So Stephanie, thank you so much and massively appreciate it. I look forward to catching you next week. You take care.
Thank you, Carl. Take care.